right, so we just got back to Bangkok from the Philippines. Overall, we had a really great trip. We loved the Philippines.
It's very fun, really awesome.
We went to Manila, Cebu, Mactan, Oslam, Dumaguete, Papua Island, Siquijor, back up to Mobile, and then we flew from Cebu over to Palawan in Puerto Princesa. We spent a night there, and then we went up to El Nido.
When it came to transportation, it was actually really easy to get around the Philippines, if not slightly more expensive than a lot of Asia. Our flights were easy to coordinate, with the exception of AirAsia. We had an AirAsia flight, which was a freaking nightmare. But Cebu Pacific was awesome. And then when it actually came to like being on the ground, places like Cebu, you could get a bus, a Ceres bus, CERES. Super cheap. You could take them anywhere, any of the cities. They were great, always on time and constantly running, almost 24/7, I think. So the jeepneys are another really good way to get around the island, especially Mactan and Cebu. They're everywhere, but they're basically old repurposed jeeps from like World War II era that they have kind of like tricked out, and people and locals basically use them as kind of buses. Very cheap, great way to see local life and culture. Yeah, exactly. So it was a lot of fun. You can hang off the back of those too. When it comes to transportation in El Nido, it was probably Camry Transport was the aircon van that we used to get from Puerto Princesa to El Nido. It was about a 6-hour trip, and was not yeah, exactly. It was actually a really nice van. They took off fairly on time, but the road up there is pretty windy. It's beautiful, a lot of rice paddies, and I love rice paddies, but generally speaking, it's really windy. It's kind of a tough trip, about 6 hours, but once you make it there, it's good. And then the boats, finally, on El Nido. If you're going to do a boat tour, which you should, at least A and C,
Definitely.
probably D, but if you're going to do a boat tour, find a private tour. That's so much better than those big group tours. If you get enough people and just meet random people and be like, hey, do you want to go on a boat tour? It's just as cheap as the big group tours, and you don't have as many people. It's also nice because you can leave earlier, so you can get to the sites earlier and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that later, but that's like really important. And we use private boats for that, and then we also used a private boat to go to a private island.
Two.
Yeah, 2 private islands with one guy.
The boat was like a little sketchy, but
It was
we got
fine.
there. We got there.
Yeah, we got there. So that was basically,
It was
yeah.
awesome.
Transport was pretty easy in the Philippines, if not a little more expensive, but not too bad.
Oh, we also rented a motorbike.
Yeah.
We rented motorbikes in Siquijor.
That's right.
In Siquijor, we got them for like 300 a day, 300 pesos, which is like $6.
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Like nothing. And then El Nido is a little more touristy, so it's a little more expensive, but we rented one. We actually ended up doing it for 2 days, but we took it up to Nakpon Beach, and that was awesome. And
That's the best way to get to Nakpon.
once you get out of the cities, they're easy to drive. There's really not a lot of traffic.
And we got those for 600 pesos a day, which is pretty cheap.
So as far as food in the Philippines, it was very mediocre.
Medium.
It was a lot of rice and meat, being an island, and not the fertilist soil. I think they have a hard time growing a lot of vegetables, which I really missed. I had a hard time with. But, I mean, they have some really great dishes there, too. Like, their chicken, lechon manok is, like, amazing.
Lechon manok is awesome.
So
and they have some other good stuff, too. They have, like, green papaya salad and green mango salad, which is awesome. A lot of good seafood, too. But generally, like she said, there's not much in terms of vegetables because their soil is just crap, I think.
Well, we had a harder
It's very
time.
rocky.
Yeah, we had a harder time finding street food in the Philippines too. Coming from Bangkok, I mean, it's a hub, so street food was everywhere. And in the Philippines, what we did find a lot of, we didn't really
eat.
But other than Puerto Princesa had some good stuff.
Yeah, Puerto Princesa had some good stuff, but El Nido in general was just okay. I mean, the food overall was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Nothing to write home about. But generally speaking, it could have been a lot worse, I guess. So the nature there was unbelievable. Like, just generally speaking, the environment is pristine. It's really nice. The coral is unbelievable when you go underwater. So like in El Nido especially, the aquatic life is amazing. The aquatic life was amazing. Apo Island, Siquijor, Oslo, where we went and swam with whale sharks. It's really cool. It's probably a top 10 destination for seeing aquatic mammals or aquatic animals in general.
Scuba, snorkel.
Yeah, scuba and snorkeling, top 10 for sure. It's really awesome. Like, that's probably one of the main draws there. And it was, like I told Brooke, that, our trip to Cozumel kind of paled in comparison to some of the reefs that we saw
Except for
there.
the jellyfish.
Yeah, the jellyfish are legit. Like
They're
there's
like-
a lot of jellyfish. They're seasonal.
I'm still recovering.
Yeah, she still got some jellyfish stings or bites, as you said.
Bites.
But the jellyfish are legit. They're a little bit scary, but generally speaking, it's amazing there. The nature's
Yeah.
amazing. The actual like the cars coming out of the water in El Nido were awesome. Apo Island was, I think, one of my favorites. We swam with like 15 to 20 sea turtles, which was so cool.
And CP is very just like untouched. It's
Yeah.
very like mountainous and jungly, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, Sikihor was awesome. Sikihor was great too. So generally speaking, like the natural aspects of the Philippines were some of the best that we've ever seen, which is really cool. So the people have been fantastic. I mean, without a doubt, the people in the Philippines were really great. Everywhere we went, people were smiling, happy to speak with us.
Spoke English really well.
That's the other thing too. It was pretty easy kind of acclimating to that culture because everyone spoke English. There was actually a fairly westernized culture. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing like a Wendy's or a McDonald's or a KFC.
Jubilee, which is their
chicken place.
Chicken
It's
place.
kind of their KFC as well,
yeah.
which really wasn't that bad. But they have a lot of like Americanized culture. They love the NBA. Filipinos love the NBA. They also have their own league, which is awesome too. We were watching some of that, and basketball is just a big part of their culture. Same thing with 90s soft rock and pop songs.
Yes, and malls.
Yeah, and malls.
There are malls everywhere.
Yeah, some of their nicest buildings and structures were malls.
Yes.
So, generally speaking, acclimating to the culture is pretty easy to do in the Philippines. And safety-wise, I felt very safe the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it gets a bad rap because of what happens in the South sometimes with some of the, I think there's like the People's Liberation Front or something, or I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah.
Sorry. But the People's Army, yeah. And then the other, like the Muslim counter aspect down there. But generally speaking, if you're not in Mindanao, I think that's how you say it,
In Davao.
yeah, and like Davao City and Mindanao, the southern part of the Philippines, then you're fine. Like it's really not.
Pretty much like El Nido, or all of Palawan is pretty much tourists. I mean, El Nido especially, that's their main source of income there. It's their main industry.
Is tourism. Yeah. I mean, the biggest terrorists there are the jellyfish, so
Yeah.
stay away from that.
Watch out for the jellyfish.
Watch out for the jellyfish. Don't try to kiss them like Brooke did. That did not work out very well for you.
Twice.
Got a little bit of jellyfish lips.
But overall, Philippines was awesome.
It's amazing.
Somewhere we have to go back to.
For sure.
Definitely spend a little more time there, and
Do canyoneering again. I think our
Oh,
favorite
gosh.
part of this trip so far has been
Canyoneering.
canyoneering in Badian. That was so much
it
fun.
was so amazing.
We had a great guide. It was just awesome. So
Yeah, overall, Philippines was great.
yeah, thank you to the Philippines. People were amazing. Thank you for everything. We will definitely visit your country again, and hopefully visit Manila again too, because I feel like that's the one place where we didn't get a great. Well, we just didn't see enough of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we were tired.
And we were exhausted. Yeah. So thanks again. Catch up on the rest of our videos, and talk to you soon.